Hi, friends. Thanks for tuning in to the Mental Fitness Unscripted podcast, where our conversation will encourage your healthy living journey. Inspired by our Team Quadzilla coaching motto, healthy living starts between your ears, we talk about mental fitness in ways that challenge us to think about our thinking regarding topics like habits, leadership, exercise, values, marriage, parenting, and faith. Our hope with this podcast is to sharpen you as we sharpen ourselves to be all we were made to be. So let's dive right into the conversation on this episode of Mental Fitness Unscripted.
Good morning.
Good morning. Hello.
It's great to see you.
Yeah, likewise.
You're not wearing your t-shirt. It must be chilly in Michigan.
Yeah, yeah. It's actually the sun is out today, which is very nice, and all of the snow has melted.
Yeah,
So
well,
we had a very cold last few weeks, and then now I think it's taking its turn to warm up for a little bit. But anyhow, here we are.
here we are. Good. Well, I miss your t-shirts. They're always fun to
Yeah.
talk about, but you've got your all-in hat, so
Yeah.
I'm
I had a pretty good one on yesterday. I should have saved that one for today, but I'll make sure to get that on
There
top
you
of the
go.
pile for
Yeah.
next time.
And I've got
There
my
you go.
Coomba Ranch shirt
Coomba
on.
Ranch. Coomba
Yeah.
Ranch, what's that?
It's a make-believe ranch in a novel by one of my favorite authors. So
Oh, okay.
I'll probably get sued because I have a T-shirt that doesn't
Oh,
exist.
great.
I thought it was cool, so I was playing around with it a little bit.
All right.
My son really likes it, and so I built him a T-shirt.
Cool. Good idea.
Since I was doing it, I made one for me. So
Yeah,
anyway,
might as well.
you
All right.
got a big one on the back.
Okay. There you go.
Got a big one on
Fun.
the back. So anyway, well, um, we were just briefly visiting before we started the recording here. Courage,
Courage.
courage. What a great subject.
Yeah.
What a great subject.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so let me start by saying that for a while now, I have tried to pick a word for the year. And some would say, well, that's kind of a silly thing to do. But I think there's some merit to having something that can help to focus your mind and your energy in a very simple way and kind of filter your ambitions and plans through that word as it is meaningful to you. This past year for me, it was intentional. So I wanted everything that I do and say and think about how I spend my money and time and all of that to be very intentional. And I wasn't great at it, to be honest. I had some victories for sure, but it's just a way to, rather than make some kind of a resolution, the word is meant to help focus my attention. And so I don't have it picked out for this year yet, but what keeps coming to mind is this idea of courage. So I thought maybe
Okay.
we could unpack that a little bit and see if, very selfishly, if I can make it fit into what I need to have to help me grow this coming year.
Well, we did a podcast at the first of last year and talked about our words, didn't we?
Yeah, we did. We did.
Do you know what's horrible? I have forgotten my word.
Oh, no, you didn't. Your word was joy.
That's right. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, no, we talked about that a few weeks ago, but I'm not going to make any excuses. I got distracted, and no,
Yeah.
joy is a great word. Um, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
There's an
You've
acronym.
had some challenges
Yes, I have.
for that,
There's been a
which
lot of
which I think part of part of the danger in choosing a word like that, it's famously known that, you don't want to pray for patience because God will give you every
He will
opportunity to
do it.
practice
Yeah,
patience and it will
yeah.
drive you insane. But
But you bring up a great point. Life has happened at our house. I mean, it's still in the throes of it right now, but life has happened, and you're right. There are challenges thrown at it, but I think the underlying thing is I have to choose it. You
yeah.
had to choose to be intentional. I had to choose to feel joy. So
Hmm.
anyway, I love that you brought this up. I'm going to write a note here. Word for the year. Word for the year. Here we go.
Yeah. So just,
So I'm gonna come up with a word.
all right, fantastic.
I like it.
Yeah, this is not like a silver bullet or some kind of secret
No.
weapon. It's really just it's an exercise of mental fitness, which is why we are here. And it's a simple way that I have found, um, and many others do the same thing. John Gordon and his companions come up with the idea a long time ago, and I think it can really just kind of give us that what is the thing he calls it in Inception? His little spinny thing,
Oh, okay.
his
Yeah,
his compass or standard or his
the test or yeah.
what
Man,
is the thing? He calls it something.
I love that top too.
His constant. He calls
That's
it his
right. That's
constant.
right. Yeah.
So it could be like that for us. It's the constant. Every time if I'm aware of this word, then when I'm in whatever circumstance, I can filter my thoughts through this word and then let that help to drive my response to that. So
Oh,
that's the idea.
I love that you brought that up. You make me want to go watch that movie. I haven't seen it for a while,
Yeah.
but I love that movie. Um,
Yeah, so
I
good.
had to watch it like 7 times to kind of I still
I
can't
know.
get my head around it. It's like, wow. Anyway,
Yeah.
but you know what? It's interesting that he had a constant, that he had a touchstone that he could go to and say, okay, is this real? And
Yeah.
oh man, you're bringing up a really great. He uses inertia, which is a constant. It will always work. He uses gravity and inertia for that
Mm.
top to operate. And those two things, you can't break those. They're constant.
Yeah.
And I love that because we have to base things, here we are back to you've got to have a standard.
Hmm.
You've got to base everything that you do off of a constant, eternal, no change um, law. I'll just call
Yeah.
it law. Um, who is it? I know Stephen Covey says this, but there's somebody else that he quotes. But anyway, we only break ourselves against the law. We can't break the law. We just break ourselves.
Yes. Oh,
Okay.
that's good. Yeah.
I wish I could remember who said that. I know Stephen Covey uses it in Seven Habits.
Hmm. Right.
We don't break the law. We break ourselves against it.
Yeah.
And the problem is that once we're broken, we can become used to it. We
Yes.
we have that choice to break the law, but
Hmm.
we're the one that's broken.
Yes.
Okay. Oh,
Oh,
I,
man, you're tempting me to go on this enormous rabbit trail about relativism, but I'm going to
okay.
refrain.
Back to courage. That's so good. Thank you for bringing that top
Yeah.
up. In fact, you make me want to just jump on line and order one.
Yeah. Well, and what's funny is the first thing I said to you when we picked up the phone today, you asked how I was doing, and what did I say? I'm spinning like a top,
It's doing like the top. Yeah.
which is supposed to be funny because you can take that in a couple of different ways, you know. But
Well,
Anyway, it all ties together.
as long as you hang on, you won't fly off, right?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's so good, man. I'm going to write a note that we need to talk about this. Let's go back to courage.
Yeah. Uh, you're saving us the trouble of having to think really hard about what we're going to talk about next time when we prepare it. But right on the episode, we're preparing the next one.
There
That's
you go.
fantastic.
Isn't that awesome? We're proving that we really do come up with
Yeah.
it as we go, right? uh,
Uh,
um, gotta
well,
get.
while you're writing, let me just do a quick advertisement. I have just finished this book, um, Toughen Up, Claude Hamilton, Basic Training for Leadership and Success. And I don't know who recommended it to me. I thought you did, but
I
it's
did
new to
not.
you, so I don't know where it came from. But it's a very easy read, and he talks about 8 different strengths that are necessary for us to toughen up, which is basically mental fitness. You know, conquering our mind so that we can become the type of people that we aim to be and have success in whatever that means to you, and then just leading yourself, because we can't expect any kind of great outcome if we don't know how to lead ourselves, and we can't expect to lead others in any capacity, even at home, if we don't know how to lead ourselves.
Yep.
So this type of training, I think, is important, and which is why I picked it up. But he comes from this point of view of kind of our culture's inclination these days just to be incredibly soft. And we're always looking for the easy button, and we're always looking for the lowest common denominator and what's the minimal effort and thing that we can do. And yet at the same time, we expect all of the,
Huge
you
results.
know,
Yeah.
all the fancy results and the wealth and the comfort and peace and whatever. So there's a there's a great tension there, right? We can't
Yep.
you can't sit on the couch and have great outcomes at the same time. So we have to sort that out. And
I
so one
agree.
of the pillars that he talks about is courage. And upon reading this, it was a reinforcement to the word that keeps coming to me in different, it's from all angles. It's just this idea of courage. And I'm like, man, could that be my word for the year? And what does courage really mean? And what does that look like? And so I thought, with the help of this book, maybe, and because I've been thinking about it a little bit, maybe we could just unpack that a little and see, you know, what is courage, and how does it apply in different areas or ways of our life? Because it's often, I think, associated with things like war, or great great bravery in, times of incredible stress. But there's much more to it than that. So I don't know. What's your initial thought on just the word itself?
I love the word, and I don't. Do you know who Ryan Holiday is? He's an author.
I've heard of it. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, he's quoted quite often. His thing is the Daily Stoic, and
Okay.
he puts out an email every day. He's written several books. One of his books is on courage, and what he does is he goes back to the Stoics, like Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius,
Mm.
others, Socrates, others, and he's very he looks into it really deeply, but he kind of brings it to a spot that you and I in our yeah,
Common folk.
yeah, common folk, we can put it in common folk words, and I love that. But the Stoics, he makes this point from all of his research and so forth, Um, he makes the point, he says, the Stoics looked at courage. So they looked at character values and so forth, like integrity, being intentional, um, choosing to be happy, just all these characteristics that you can put together. And there's a whole long list of it. They boiled it down to four basic ones. And don't test me on it, I'll probably fail. But one of those is courage. And the Stoics make this point that courage is the value to all the other values.
Mm.
And let me give you for instance, you picked a word last year of, intention or intentionality. Does it take courage to be intentional?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And so to your point, it's not that we have to go running into battle and, face the machine gun and, you know, do all this stuff. And we don't drive around town looking for a car wreck that we can save somebody or, we don't need to do that. Having courage is being a mother who has to get up in the middle of the night to take care of a crying baby. That, she took on that responsibility. That took courage for her to
Yeah.
become a mother and to operate through those things that take being a good mother and being humble. That takes courage to just set your ego aside.
Mm.
Okay, it's not me that's central here. It's my learning, or
Mm.
maybe it's that baby in the case of the mother. Integrity. We think of integrity as being honest, which I do hold with that. But if I make a New Year's resolution, do I have the integrity to keep that? Which
Right.
that overarching requires
Yeah.
courage. And so I love that he pointed that out. I'm going to attribute that to Ryan Holiday for me learning that. But the Stoics discovered that early on, that for me to have wisdom, I have to take on experiences. I have to have the
Mm.
courage to do that. And I'm going to stand on my soapbox here for a minute. Today's society is so caught up in anxiety and the avoidance of anxiety and discomfort that I'm afraid it's hamstringing us from really progressing where we need to be. People talk about, well, you need to be outside of your comfort zone. Well, I've got an article. I'm going to send it to you.
Okay.
It's about normal, and if we take the standard of normal and just keep ratcheting it down, normal will just in the investment world we call it investment drift. An investment group, like a mutual fund, or they will have a vision or a this is our purpose for this investment, whether it's growth or value, or, we do tech stocks, we do, and they will have this mission and this, um, why am I blanking here? Anyway, the investment parameters of what they will do and what they won't do. The problem is if it becomes popular and becomes big enough, they will run out of those types of things to invest in. And so they'll look for other things. And pretty soon it will drift off of what originally they were set up for. And they call it investment drift. So, some of these larger mutual funds are prone to that because they just run out of things that to invest in. They've got to put money somewhere. And so they'll drift. That can happen with our standards if we allow it. And so, today's society is looking at anxiety and going, "Oh, well, I don't want to feel anxiety, so I'm not going there." Well, there's two sides of anxiety. It's a coin, okay? There is bad anxiety, and I believe there is even chemically caused, and where people really need to have help from doctors and prescriptions and so forth. I believe that, and I wholeheartedly embrace that. But I think we've taken it too far that if it makes us a little bit afraid, oh, I don't want to go there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so we have this avoidance. And what happens is by that avoidance, we drift and our normal becomes, suddenly we're on the couch watching television and eating stuff that really doesn't help us out and thinking that we're normal. And
Mm,
we weren't built for that. We're built to progress. And yes, we do
yeah.
have to get outside of the comfort zone to do that. But where's that comfort zone? I mean, where's the healthy comfort zone? And so there's healthy anxiety. Man, I'm going on and on and on here. Like I said, it's my soapbox, but there's a healthy anxiety where we've got to put ourselves in an extreme, and I use that word loosely here, but we've got to put ourselves into an extreme situation that we have to respond. That mother, when the crying baby at 2 o'clock in the morning cries, that's an extreme, unique situation. Mom's got to respond,
Yeah.
right? And there is an anxiety. I want to sleep. Why are you crying? And so that's where courage comes in. Is okay. I'm in this spot. I've got to go respond to it. Okay. You put yourself in extreme situations on your bicycle racing,
Mm,
right? Okay.
mhm.
And training up for that, you intentionally put yourself in a bad spot where anxiety and your comfort
Yeah.
zone are being tested. Does it take courage to get up in the morning, put your clothes on, get the bike out, and go in the dark and go biking to train for a race? Well, yeah, it does. So anyway, courage.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm on my
Well, you
soapbox. Tell me to get off.
you now you just you basically described what this author talks about in the Toughen Up book is that um, courage is grown and developed by doing the right thing in the little things,
Oh, absolutely.
and you cannot expect, we see the heroic action of somebody who runs into the building on fire and whatever, but that guy didn't just wake up one
No.
day and decide he was going to do that. He's been training himself for that through various disciplines specific to that activity, for one, but also very likely in many other simple and unglamorous things, like getting up in the middle of the night for your child, or choosing carrots instead of potato chips, or all of these things. There's a moment in our mind where we have this opportunity to choose for or against the courage required to do the right thing. And to me, that is a very simple concept, also very hard to do, but is in fact courage. And so, it's not the same as the Wizard of Oz kind of courage, but it helps me to recognize that the simple daily disciplines, the habits that I'm trying to develop as part of my lifestyle, as part of who I am as a person, all um, all drive me towards this idea of courage and the growth of courage, so that when something bigger does happen, some crisis does happen, I am ready. So I don't know.
Yeah. No.
That's one angle that he takes for this idea of courage that I'm very interested in growing for me in this coming year.
That's awesome. There's a saying I really like: the body will not go where the mind has not been.
Mm, yeah.
And you talk about that firefighter. yeah, he runs into the burning building, but you know how many, you know, he's done that in training, you know, how many times, and then in his mind, he's probably
Mm,
imagined, you know, how would I respond to this?
yes.
You know, and so he's been there many, many, many times. And to your point, we see this big heroic deed, but what we don't see is how many times that person has put themselves in that place to expand their you know capability of doing that.
Right. Yes. So let us take courage that growing in courage does not require us to skydive or run into
Yeah,
burning buildings or things like that. And maybe that's the big takeaway for this is that we all have courage already, and we can all grow in courage. But what we need to do is be focused on the small, the mundane, the unglamorous things, and choosing well. Um, Often meaning choosing the harder thing, the uncomfortable thing. And that is what's digging those trenches in our mind that, you know, it's okay, we can do this, and it's better at the end. But that all requires mental training. And so,
and you brought it up. I think the point of courage, um, you brought it up. It's just that little space and time that we have where we can make that
mm,
choice. You know, Victor
yeah.
Frankl has talked about that in his book
Oh, yes.
Man's Search for Meaning. Stephen Covey, he talks about it in
Hmm.
Seven Habits. I mean, there are many others, but there's that little space. You know, the thing happens, and then there's a little space that of time that we can make that decision. And you know, Mel Robbins, she even calls it the moment of courage. You know,
Okay.
her thing is you know, take 5 seconds and just make that decision, count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That's her big thing. And I love
Mm,
that. You know, it's just that little, and that's where integrity comes. And you got to have courage to have the integrity, to have courage to
yeah.
make the choice to, it's like,
Yes.
oh. So,
Yes. Yeah. In one other angle I want to take here, just from the book, is that he draws a correlation between winners and losers and courage. And the point that he's making is that um, many times the difference between a winner and a loser is the way that they think,
absolutely.
and that checks out. That's mental fitness. That's why we're here,
Absolutely.
um, and and it aligns so much with what we're saying is that we have this choice to make, and when we're constantly choosing to quit when it gets hard for whatever's the easy thing, like kicking rocks because there's cookies on the table, so I guess I'm going to have to eat them. Well, you're not. I'm not choosing courage in that moment because this is what I do. And but you know, if I could do better at that, the math would say that as I build up those small incremental acts of courage, then when the bigger things come, I'm more likely to succeed or to win. And I don't know, I think that fits well with what we're trying to do here.
You know, we build our own comfort based on what we choose.
Uh,
Okay. Um,
yeah.
what's my comfort zone? You know, is it the couch and television remote and a snack or uh, um, you know, I have people come to me and we've talked about this before. I have people come to me and say, "Why do you do what you do?" And you
Mm,
know, exercising and you know doing all this other stuff to just kind of like you say, put those little bricks of that experience, just those small things, so that when the big thing shows up, um,
yeah.
you know, that's how I know how to react and how I choose to react. Well, the choice is not when the big thing happens. The choice is when I've done all those little baby things. Okay,
Ugh, so
that
true.
it's a brick that you're putting together to build that character so that when the big thing shows up, bam, uh,
Yes.
you're there. You know,
Yeah, it's a
back to
natural response.
exactly back to that firefighter. I mean, he can practice going into a burning house, just sitting there in his mind. You know, he can
Hmm.
just imagine that and say, okay, what what would I do? How would I react? What things do I need to be careful of? What do I need to watch for? You know, he could go through that entire scenario. Uh, Dennis Waitley, I think, is his name. Um, and I've got one. I've got his book. It's been a really long time since. Anyway, hang on. I might have it. Ta-da! I found it.
Hey.
Anyway, Dennis Waitley talks about that, and he says actually imagining in your mind has it can have more impact than just practicing it alone. Now he says
Mm,
that doesn't mean you don't practice. So he took three groups. He took one group. They were all basketball players, and he said, "Okay, free throws." And he had one group just shoot free throws. Okay, and then he had one group. Um, how did he do it? Like I said, it's been a really long time since I've read this, but anyway, so they practiced free throws. The other one, maybe it was just two groups. Anyway, the second group did not shoot free throws, but what they imagined was shooting them in their mind. They were in a
mm,
relaxed state. They imagined it and imagined it perfectly every time. And then he had a test afterward. And the group that practiced shooting physically did worse than the others did just imagine.
interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, how about that?
But but uh, he said that that's not to push that you don't go and practice.
Yeah.
He said what you've got to do is you've got to do both. And he applied this to a bunch of stuff in NASA with astronauts early on
Mm,
in the 60s, you know, back when the Apollo program and Atlas and Gemini programs were happening. And what they found was is that astronauts' heart rates would actually stay the same or go down when there was an emergency situation because they'd already been there. They've
mm,
they'd practiced it in simulation, but they had also
mm,
practiced it imagining and just
yes.
through that process. And they would monitor their physiology and actually notice that their breathing, you know, and their heart
Mm,
rate would just, it's just another thing. I've already been here.
yeah.
So anyway,
Wow. That's a fantastic application to the idea of thinking about your thinking.
the Seeds of Greatness by Dennis Waitley.
Yeah, that's great.
Besides that, he was one of the original, just left my brain here. Oh, this is really bad. Thunderbirds for the Air Force. No, he was Blue Angels. I can't
Oh,
remember.
really?
Yeah, he was one of those.
Okay.
Like I said, it's been a really long time. Yeah, I'm going to be in trouble with all of our military people. I
Well,
I
you
think it
know
was the
that
Blue Angels.
Dennis's extended family is all watching this, and so
Yeah,
they're going to call
I'm going
you
to be
out
in
on
deep. I'm going to be in deep trouble.
it.
Deep trouble. Go buy the book, okay?
Yeah.
Jeffrey's
All
family.
right.
I'm pretty sure it was the Blue Angels. So
Cool. Well, yeah, this has really helped bring some clarity to the idea. Courage is not maybe what we first think it is, and it's important and challenging and something that we can all be practicing. So that's good
yeah,
stuff today.
yeah. And I like the idea that it's an overarching value for our values. You know,
Yeah,
that we touch courage every time we make a choice with our values.
right. Yeah. For sure. Cool.
Awesome.
All
Again,
right. Any
always
other
good.
parting shots
No,
for
you got. Wait, that's the 2-minute warning right there.
all right. All right. Well, we better wrap it up then.
Uh, Chad, you're awesome. I'm glad I know you. Keep being a good dude.
Likewise. Yeah, this is a lot of fun. Thank you.
All
Have
right.
a great rest of your week, and we'll catch up again very soon.
All right. Thanks,
All
Chad.
right. Bye,
See you.
Todd.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Mental Fitness Unscripted podcast. Now go take some action, because we know that information alone doesn't change you, but taking even the smallest action in the right direction does. Also, subscribe and comment so more people can find the podcast and be encouraged. If you're ready to take your mental fitness to the next level and you'd like more support, check out teamquadzilla.com for our resources that will help you accelerate your journey. Until next time, remember, healthy living starts between your ears.